You're live.
Let me know when.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Yep.
Not live, just recording.
Hi, I'm with Tony. Tony, what do you think? In the Corporation of Canada, what's I watched your tax revolt yesterday. You talked about a tax revolt. Why people should stop paying taxes, and I'm here today with you because yesterday recording wasn't very clear. It was lots of muffled because of the sound, and I think it's very important. So, do you want to explain to the people in BC why they should maybe do a tax revolt?
Well, first of all, I was born in India, I lived in USA, and I came here 20 odd years ago. I have read thoroughly the Constitution of India, the Constitution of USA, and I got a shock when I came here because there wasn't one document called Constitution. There were bits and pieces of paper all over the place, including some agreement that are verbal with the First Nations. They're not even written down. It was a nightmare to compare Canadian documents of description of what Canada is compared to USA and India. So that was the first shock. I have no doubt that our democracy, our freedom, whatever is there, and not just Canada, every country, whether you have a constitution or not, is being hijacked. And we are losing our rights for the benefit of some select few. Now, last 3 months, I've been protesting on downtown Vancouver, in Surrey, in different places. I went to Ottawa for a protest. The thing is, we can protest and we can protest, but 99% of people do not join us. They're either afraid, or they don't understand, or they really believe the TV and they're cowering under their bed, afraid of a virus and so on, and they don't use their common sense logic. So therefore, majority are not with us, and as a result, the political class know that they don't have to arrest us, they don't have to beat us up, they can just ignore us because we don't form the numbers. So I have been thinking, how can people protest the loss of democracy as well as have some sort of a tactic, some sort of a tool to bring over the people on the other side of the fence. The first thing that everyone agrees, at least anybody sane, rational person agrees, is that Canadian economy has been ruined. Whether you believe in COVID, don't believe in COVID, whether you want to be afraid, don't want to wear a mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine, nobody doubts that the Canadian economy has been ruined. I'm not talking about other countries, they have to deal with their problem. So if the Canadian economy has been ruined, everybody has to tighten their belt, so should the government. So all taxes should be at least proportionally brought down, even if you think that that taxing is illegal and should be done, even then it should be brought down. And if we start that argument, everybody should join. Tell me who does not want to save money? When the economy is crippled, is ruined, why should municipalities get the same salary and same cushy life when everybody else is suffering? So therefore, if the economy is down to 1/3, you slash your taxes to 1/3. In fact, how badly the economy is ruined, here's the thing. No government, not British Columbia, not Ottawa, not any other, has ever so far done a serious assessment of how much of the economy is already ruined. I have this from the horse's mouth, from the MPs who have written to me, opposition, that they are trying to hold the government accountable, but nobody is doing any assessment. So therefore, nobody even knows how much we are ruined already. You can say that we have so much debt, so much debt. So this is one thing that I thought was a platform that might bring in all the people like me. I not only think economy is ruined, our freedom is being ruined, and therefore we need to use the only tool, only leverage that I cannot find any other leverage without numbers. Numbers is a fantastic leverage, but without numbers, I don't see a proper leverage, except that my tax is going to feed the beast, and I still can resist or refuse to pay the tax, and that should bring in a lot of people from the other side. And this is why I mentioned it in Ottawa in front of the parliament, and I was told, hey, don't send your letter off to the municipality, your municipality right away. Wait, because this is a mass appeal, air it out. So that's where we are. Right?
So what we, as you mentioned the other day there when I was talking to you, you mentioned about a tax revolt.
No.
Well, we all agree that we need to stop paying taxes.
Right.
All of our taxes from income tax, so all your wages do not go to anything. They go to a private banking cartel to pay off a private banking cartel
Right.
that has been stealing trillions of dollars.
Right.
So we stop paying income tax. So we tell our employer they pay us 100% of our wage. Then we start looking at the land tax. Now, as we know that more and more people believe that paying land tax is going to benefit them, it's not. These land taxes are still theft to the people.
Correct.
All these taxes have increased because
Right.
these parasites are living high on the hog. Now, we all know that the government has been doing nothing for 80 years but steal from the people.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're on a permanent holiday. We've given themselves increased wages. They haven't even been to work. They haven't been doing
they're
anything.
Printing money out of thin air.
Yep, printing money out of thin air. So they're harming the people. So we can do a tax revolt. We need people to also stop paying for a lot of things. Like we need to get organized. We stop paying for insurance, driver's licenses. All these things are unlawful and illegal. And the reason they're unlawful and illegal is that Canada does not exist. It's a sovereign nation. So I just had a meeting with the clan mothers this morning, Dorothy, and she said that the natives, the traditional natives, or the heritage natives, not the globalist natives that have been hijacked and worked by the parasites. So we can do this very quickly. We all come together on a solution. The solution is we get organized with the constitutional conventions. Bob, we're over here. The constitutional conventions. And the reason is this. The Constitution is your first step of creating a document how you want to be governed as a contract. So we will work on the next 2 weeks. I'll be working with Tony and the many great people I met in Vancouver area here, and also Vernon, Kamloops, all these towns. We're heading to Kamloops as the next stop this Thursday, Friday. Please contact us. We're going to have a great big event there, 3 or 4 days. We are going to move the message. The message is we the people have had enough. We're going to create a constitution how we want to govern ourselves. We want you to be part of this greatest document ever written. This document will go down in history as the first contract to stop slavery in the province of British Columbia. Alberta's doing the same thing. All the provinces are nations. There's no federation papers. I think I mentioned to Tony a couple of days ago, there is a $25,000 reward for anybody that can produce a federation paper. And if you guys can find this thing called the Constitution, I would love to see it because it's an act. In order for a constitution, it has to be ratified by the people, and not once have the people consented to a document. And as Tony mentioned before, the BNA Act and the Indian Act. The Indian Act enslaves the Indians under a trust. The BNA Act enslaves the Canadian citizens. Step up, be counted, contact Tony. Tony, you want to give them your information where they can contact you about this?
Well, my email address is tony.mitra, that's tony.mitra@gmail.com. I'm based in Delta, BC, and I'm also on Facebook, named Tony Mitra. I'm also on Twitter @Tony Mitra, and I have a channel in YouTube. I have a couple of thousand followers, also Tony Mitra.
Well, there we go. So, Tony, what do you want to say to the people in British Columbia?
See, I agree everything that Dallas said, except for the income tax. We can demand that we don't want to pay it, but for most people it is cut at source. So we can demand, but if the government doesn't agree, the question still remains, what do you do? As far as property tax is concerned, it is not cut at source. You get a bill in your hand and you get a deadline and you're supposed to pay. And that is where I can refuse to pay and set a condition to the municipality. You have to sit down with us and discuss why, hear us, our grievance, why we don't want to pay the property tax, we don't want to pay the full amount, whatever, and what we want to do, you to do in exchange for it. And what we want to do is tell the higher government to lay off, stop, refuse to shut down the economy in the town, refuse to follow social distancing or vaccine or face mask unless Canada independently verifies and proves the necessity of it. Right now, the scientists and doctors who are disagreeing with the government step, they're being silenced, they're being fired, they're being kept out of. That won't do. You have to bring them all out, let them also say their expert opinion why we think coronavirus is a bullshit.
We know it's bullshit. You know why?
So those scientists who can prove it is a bullshit, you don't silence them. So this is what we demand to the municipality. Unless the government can prove that this is necessary, we are not going to follow it. You do that, then we are talking about how to support the municipality. We can start the grassroots revolt, including a new constitution, all that, from the bottom up instead of top down.
That's right. The secret is simple. We, the people, have to do it in the local communities. So, these mayors and these city council members must start listening to the people, keep your taxes in your local community, you start rebuilding your community. We start refurbishing our small communities. The UN Agenda 21 plan was very strategic to wipe out the rural areas, push everybody into the prisons, the prison of Edmonton, the prison of Calgary, the prison of Vancouver, etc., etc. We need to take back our land, which is ours, start rebuilding our future and our children's future, and we can do this in months. The wealth of this nation will be returned to the people. So that's about it, and we'll be talking more. We're down in White Rock Beach today, meeting a lot of patriots, and we're going to have some good times, and we're going to educate.
Thank you.
Thank you.